So as I said, I've been traveling a lot over the last 2 weeks, and I got home about 36 hours ago. And on the plane back, I wrote the following letter. In a lot of Buddhist literature, meditators are called travelers because they are journeying on a spiritual path. And often they've left behind their home and their family on this quest, like the Buddha did after he saw, a sick person and a corpse. He left the palace. But whether or not we've left home physically, meditating is like leaving the familiar pattern of our thoughts. Having a meditation practice is like taking a journey to a bigger world. So what follows is my personal take on the stages of the path as far as I've personally experienced them. The first stop on the tour, as it were, is noticing our thoughts for the first time, or at least noticing them in a way that feels like the first time, because we just stop our normal activity, which takes up so much of our consciousness, and we just sit. And suddenly it seems like our thoughts are crazy and rushing like a waterfall or a torrent of a storm. And it can be really overwhelming because you sit down for the first time and you think, oh, I'm going to be meditating. I'm going to be peaceful. And actually, it turns out that your thoughts like rise to the surface or come to the fore, or you notice them in a different way because you're not distracted. And sometimes it's overwhelming. As we settle and as we get used to it a little bit, the first thing we experience, at least that I experience, is my breath. So we feel our breathing. We feel our body breathing. And and this might be, at least for me, I feel like I touched into my breathing in a way that I hadn't since I was a kid. When you're a kid and you just run for the joy of running, or you run for in a game or something, and then you run until you just can't run anymore, and you feel your breathing so intently. Well, sitting meditation helped me sort of reconnect with that just physical feeling of the breath in and out of the body. And as we meditate more, the awareness of our breathing and the physical aspect of breathing extends throughout our body. So we start to feel more embodied. And I would bet that many of you have had this experience just from meditating, in this group for 2 or 3 years, where even, we meditate twice a week, and you might meditate on your own in between the sessions, but even just that, I think I would bet many of us feel this increased sense of embodiment. We feel more conscious of our physical body. And then what happens, I think, is we feel our emotions more. And we start to see them actually as powerful, but embodied thoughts. They're not different than thoughts fundamentally, but they're very powerful, and they're physical in the sense that we feel them in our body. We feel the rush of anger. We feel the glow of love. And we feel some strength and power coming from learning to ride the energy of our emotions instead of being carried away by them. Next, our thoughts and our feelings join with our breathing and our body into a unified whole. So we feel connected in our experience like we only rarely have before. Maybe we were doing our favorite sport, like for me, it's skiing, or creating art. We feel, they call it in the flow. But instead of having to create this whole environment like skiing or surfing or cooking or whatever it is for you, we feel that flow just sitting here with nothing going on. We feel unified and we feel connected. We're more at home in our body and our mind than we ever have been before. And now this is our home. Then we look outside our body and we see the world we live in. We hear the world, we smell the world, and it's amazing, but we realize it's always like this. It's just, we haven't really been paying that much attention to it, or we haven't been able to see it in this way. We've been so distracted by our internal monologue that we've missed so much about our world. I had this experience once where I was walking down the street and I noticed a house and I noticed a key in the door, like a house key was hanging on the outside of the door. And I looked up and I saw a kid in the window of the second floor looking down at me. And I pointed at the key and the kid got it and went down and got the key out of the front of the door. And it's that kind of communication and connection to the world and the people in it that I'm talking about here. We know this will all end. We know, like all things that have come together, we will fall apart. And we're aware of the links between us all, between the beauty and the tenuousness of our connection. And this is kind of where I am now. We are more at home in our world than we've ever been before. Home is not a certain place or a familiar personality. Home is being alive and connected. Home is being in love with the world. Home is being a child of illusion. Home is being confused and lost, but still journeying on, still curious of what comes next. Still grateful for the fact we woke up again this morning, conscious and with a chance to hear music or cook food again. When facing obstacles, we have the wherewithal to ask ourselves, what attachment is causing this pain? What am I attached to here? We have tools in our toolbox to unpack our own suffering and sometimes, hopefully, the suffering of other people. My hope for myself and for all of us is that when it comes time for us to take our final breath, when, as our heart beats for the last time and the air finally leaves our body, that we feel ease. I hope that we can let go completely. I hope we can rejoin the ocean of awareness and connection that we were born from without fear. I hope that by the time we know our outbreath so completely, that we can let go of our connections to our body, our senses, our friends, to every visible, tangible thing we have known, and rest in what's underneath. At that moment, we will be setting off on another path. We know nothing about it. My hope is that we can go that way with an open heart, with full awareness, with a child's curiosity and a sage's perspective. We will be rejoining the earth and the stars. The whole world will be our home. Okay, let's sit. settling into your body, feeling the weight of your body on your chair, feeling your breath, the rise and fall of your chest. Just give yourself permission to be in your body, on your seat, in your room. And when you find yourself gone, just gently bring your awareness back to your entire experience. We'll sit for a few minutes and then we'll take a break and then we'll start again. So let yourself settle into the practice. Okay, now just stop meditating for a minute and maybe move your body a little bit and reconnect and relax. And then when you're ready, take your posture again and find your breath again. And if you're feeling scattered or um, anxious, just connect with your body, connect with the feeling of your breath again and again and again. Gently, gently, with love, like you're teaching your 3-year-old nephew how to walk. Just gently hold by the hand, guiding him or her to be aware of your body, aware of your breathing. And if you're feeling more settled and if your foundation feels stronger this morning, then allow your awareness to expand out. As you breathe out, allow your awareness to relax out into the world. First in front, and then all around you. Now just stop meditating and let your mind fall open like a well-read book or like putting down your backpack after a long hike and just relax. If you like, you can join me in the metta prayer. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. And we bow to each other. That's the end of our session for today. Thank you for joining. If you'd like to stay and chat, that would be great. And if not, I hope you have a great weekend and see you next week.